Good morning. Today is Groundhog Day, and that little weather rodent says that we're going to have an early spring. If he's wrong this time, I say let's barbecue him. The way the weather's been, it is really icy. Take a look at this. You can dance without trying. Today, it's cloudy and gray, but there is some green grass showing up through this brown stuff. You go over this side of the house, and there's a lot of it. The snow has gotten really icy, slick. But look at that. That's green. So that is usually a sign of spring. So this little weather rodent says that he did not see his shadow. So I got to wondering about that. It seems kind of a strange deal. You know, if he sees his shadow, that would mean that the sun is shining and kind of spring-like, you would think. If he does not see his shadow, it would mean a day like today where it's dreary and feels like winter is never going away. So I got to thinking about this and wondering who come up with all this. I mean, they laugh at us for our woolly worms and woolly booger caterpillars and things like that, but they'll believe the fat rodent that lives under the rocks. You know, we call them rock chucks out here. But anyway, I got to looking into it, and this is kind of what I found. I'll read this. I got banished to the woodshed. Cindy is in watching TV, and that screaming bird. Oh man. Sometimes kind of wonder what that thing would taste like barbecued. Anyway, this is what I found out. It's actually raining out here right now. This time of year, that's not really a good thing. The snow will melt a little bit, which is not a bad thing, but that rain, still too cold. It's going to be really, really icy. So, if I'm going to do this, gotta look the part, right? Okay, so it says here, the earliest known American reference to Groundhog Day was in Morgantown, in a Morgantown shopkeeper's journal dated the 4th of February, 1841. Last Tuesday, the 2nd, was Candlemas Day. I thought, what the heck is that? I never heard of Candlemas Day. I looked it up. It says that it used to be a tradition to take your candles in to church and have them blessed. I guess so they'd work through the winter, huh? But it kind of seems a little late for that. It seems like you ought to be blessing your candles at the beginning of winter, not when it's almost over, hopefully. But anyway, last Tuesday, the 2nd, was Candlemas Day, the day on which, according to the Germans, the groundhog peeps out of its winter quarters, and if it sees his shadow, he pops back in for another 6 weeks' nap. The entry reads, But if the day be cloudy, he remains out, as the weather is to be moderate. Like I said, that seems kind of backwards, but today is cloudy, gray, and nasty, so I'm going with it. And it says the Groundhog Day is a tradition observed in the United States and Canada. I didn't know the Canadians were crazy too. On February 2nd of every year. It derives from the Pennsylvania Dutch superstition that if a groundhog emerges from its burrow on this day and sees its shadow, it will retreat to its den, and winter will go on for another 6 more weeks. If it does not see its shadow, spring will arrive early. In 2024, an early spring was predicted. So that's good news. The weather lore was brought on by German-speaking areas where the badger is the forecasting animal. It is related to the lore that clear weather on the Christian festival of Candlemas forebodes a prolonged winter. The weather predicting animal on Candlemas is usually the badger, although regionally the animal has been a bear or a fox. The original weather predicting animal in Germany has been the bear, another hibernating animal. But when the bears grew scarce, the lore became altered. There's no shortage of rock chucks. Woodchucks, groundhogs. So other parts of the country and Canada and stuff, I guess they've got their own weather rodent, Phil. And it says here that in Washington, D.C., the DuPont Circle Groundhog Day event features Potomac Phil. From his first appearance in 2012 to 2018, Phil's spring predictions invariably agreed with those of the more lively Puxiani, or however you say that, Puxatani Phil, who made his predictions half an hour earlier. In addition, Phil always predicted correctly 6 more months of political gridlock. However, after being accused of collusion in 2018, Potomac Phil contradicted Puxiani Phil in 2019 and further predicted 2 more years of political insanity. I think you got that right. It says here, the use of candles on the Christian Candlemas was inspired by the Roman rite for the goddess February. Interesting. Like I say, basically they're blessing candles. It says that scholar Rice Carpenter in 1946 emphasized that the Badger Day tradition was strong in Germany but absent in the British Isles, and he referred to this as a reason that the U.S. Groundhog Day was not brought by immigrants from these places. There did exist a belief among Roman Catholics in Britain that the hedgehog predicted the length of the winter. But we don't have hedgehogs, so I guess they've switched over to groundhogs. Anyway, I thought all this was kind of interesting. And in looking for this stuff, I found some of this silly stuff at the end. But either way, hopefully this little overgrown mouse is right, and it's going to be an early spring. Doesn't look like it from the weather today, but I guess that's supposed to be a sign of it. Well, anyhow, folks, have a great Groundhog Day, early spring, hopefully, and see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.